What is going on, guys? Welcome to the video. In today's video, we are going to be recapping the last 5 months of my diet, as well as talking about the plan going into my 2023/2024 off season. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. So I guess the best place to start is going to be going all the way back to 2022 when I finished my last prep and I did my last show. So in 2022, I went through a 16-week prep leading up to my first show, and then I did another 4 weeks going into my second show. So in total, I ended up doing a 20-week prep. So here is a clip of what I looked like at 2 days out of my second show. So this was after about 20 weeks of dieting. I was pretty happy with the look that I brought to that show, but I definitely knew that I needed to pack on a bit more size if I wanted to be more competitive going into my next season. So after finishing that show in 2022, I decided that I was going to take 2023 off to go ahead, build some muscle, pack on some size on my frame, so that when I did come back in 2024, that I would be in a better position to place a little bit higher. So I ended my prep in 2022 around about 167 pounds. From there, I went into a 6-month off season where I ended up putting on about 55 pounds. Now, I know that sounds like a lot of weight, but obviously coming off of the back end of a prep, you're gonna put on a little bit of weight very, very quickly because you're depleted, you're very flat, you are very, very lean. So you're gonna need to put on a little bit of body fat, as well as you're gonna get some water retention, some glycogen, different things like that. So naturally, I probably would have jumped up to close to 180 pounds anyways. So then I continued putting on some weight from there. So here is a clip of what I looked like at the peak of my off season at 225 pounds. Looking back on it now, I definitely can see that I did not need to get this fat. To be honest with you, I definitely got a little bit out of hand when it came to the body fat percentage, but I was very, very strong, so I did pack on a good amount of muscle with this bulk as well. In hindsight, like I said, in the future, I definitely would not want to get this heavy again because I do see that my body composition definitely was not in a super good spot. But like I said, I definitely built a lot of muscle because I was the strongest that I had ever been. So the clip that you just watched is from back in February. This was the end of February 20th or 22nd about, where I was 225 pounds. I decided at this point that it was probably about time that I stopped bulking because I did get up to the heaviest that I had ever been. So I decided that this was a good point to really start kind of reeling things back in and start to get the body fat under control. From there, I started to move into a dieting phase where I ended up losing about 38 pounds over the course of 20 weeks. So I ended up getting down to the lowest I got down to was about 188 pounds. And here's a clip of what I looked like at that body weight. Definitely very happy with what I looked like at this body weight. I can definitely see that I did put on a good amount of muscle. The shape is starting to be there. So I definitely think that if I peeled, another 10 or 15 pounds off of this look, that I would be in a very, very good position to step on stage. So from here, I have now decided to go back into another off-season phase where I'm going to be going into a 24-week push phase where I will be continuing to push my weight up to pack on a little bit more muscle before I go into a prep moving into 2024. The goal here with this off-season is definitely to not get as heavy as I was in this last off-season. Like I said, 225 pounds was a little bit fat for me, to be honest with you. So the goal of this off-season is to not get much heavier than 210 pounds. That still gives me a good amount of runway. It still gives me about 20 pounds to gain over this next 5 months, but it is going to make it so that I am in a better position to start my prep next year, where I'm not going to be as heavy, I'm not going to be as fat, so I won't have to lose as much fat going into this prep. So here is what things were looking like at the end of this dieting phase. Keep in mind that I did work my way up to this all the way across 20 weeks. So this is not what I started at as far as calories go. This is not what I started at as far as cardio goes. I worked my way up to this over the course of 20 weeks. This is just what I finished on. So taking a look at things here, I was doing 45 minutes of cardio 6 times per week. The only day that I was taking off of morning cardio was Sundays, just to give my body a little bit of time to rest and recover. So I worked my way up to 45 minutes fasted in the morning. And then as well, I was doing 30 minutes post-workout on the Stairmaster 5 times a week because I was just doing that after training, so 5 times a week there. Both sessions, I was aiming for my heart rate to be around 140 to 150 beats per minute. So that was quite a bit of cardio by the end there. I was doing about 75 minutes of cardio by the end of this dieting phase, which is quite a bit. As well, I was doing 18,000 steps per day. This does include my cardio because the 45 minutes that I do in the morning is on an incline treadmill, so I do get quite a bit of steps in there, so I did count that towards my total daily step goal. So that is why my total daily step goal was relatively high by the end at about 18,000. But even with that, I still had to go for about an hour walk in the evening, just kind of walking around the house, general things like that, plus, like I said, that 45 minutes of cardio in the morning. Water was between 4 to 5 liters per day. This is definitely not going to change. This is what things will be like all year round. Anywhere from 4 to 6 liters of water per day is going to be absolutely fantastic for someone of my activity level. As far as calories and macros go, on my training days, my calories were 1,905 calories, 225 grams of protein, 150 grams of carbs, and then 45 grams of fat. So as you can see, that is relatively low calories, but like I said, this is what I worked my way down to, I guess, over the course of 20 weeks. I think I started the diet around 3,000 calories per day, so then I ended up continuing to slowly pull calories on an as needed basis. As well, my non-training day calories, or my rest day calories, were about 1,810 calories. That consisted of 225 grams of protein, 115 grams of carbs, and then 50 grams of fat. So definitely a little bit less carbs on the non-training days, just to go ahead and kind of continue to pull us into that deficit a little bit more. So that is kind of what things looked like at the end of this dieting phase. It definitely was a lot at the end there, with kind of 75 minutes of cardio per day, 18,000 steps, all of that different stuff. So I have already made some adjustments to this going into this off season, which I just started 2 days ago. So I'm going to go ahead and run you through those changes right now. So like I said, the goal here is going to be to do a 24-week push. This would take me to 22 weeks out from my first show in 2024. So that is kind of the rough timeline here. Obviously, all of this stuff, when it comes to calories, when it comes to cardio manipulations, all of these different things is just a rough estimate, because we can't really know how our body is going to respond to things. We don't know whether we are going to gain weight faster than we thought. We're not sure if we're going to lose weight on the calories that we have. It's all going to be a little bit up in the air, but this is just kind of a rough estimate and a rough plan of where things are going to go going into this off season. So moving into this first 2 weeks, the first change that I made is I bumped up calories significantly. As you saw on my training days, I was eating about 1,900 calories. I went and bumped that up to 2,500 calories. That is going to consist of 225 grams of protein. Protein intake has not changed from dieting to off season. That has not changed because I am only 190 pounds right now. So even 225 grams of protein is still above the 1 gram per pound of body weight that I recommend to most people. So 225 grams of protein per day, 285 grams of carbs per day. That is where the majority of the calories came from. I was only eating 150 grams of carbs on my training days. Now we're eating 285 grams of carbs. So that's definitely going to help us see a big boost in performance when it comes to our lifts in the gym. As well, 50 grams of fat. So that has not changed a ton, just an extra 5 grams of fat there from where I was at before. As far as non-training days go, rest days, that has come up about 300-ish calories. Again, still 225 grams of protein, 185 grams of carbs, so threw in about additional 70 grams of carbs there on the rest days, as well as 50 grams of fat, so that has stayed the same as well. As far as cardio goes, I've gone ahead and pulled out 10 minutes in the morning. So I'm now doing 35 minutes in the morning, 6 days per week. And then as well, I have pulled out 15 minutes post-workout. So instead of doing 30 minutes now post-workout 5 times a week, I'm only doing 15 minutes post-workout 5 times a week. And I can already tell you, this is only like day 3 of the bulk, and that feels so much better already. Coming down from 75 minutes of cardio total per day to 50 minutes has already made such a difference in my fatigue levels and energy levels and everything like that. So that is going to continue to slowly decrease over time, because we just want to kind of pull down that exercise that we are doing as we slowly increase calories to make sure that we are gaining weight, building muscle, recovering good, and all of that good stuff. As far as steps go, steps are at 15,000 steps per day. Again, that does still include cardio, because I am doing 35 minutes in the morning on the treadmill, so that will include those steps as well. And then, as you can see, moving forward into the next couple of weeks, every 2 weeks I plan on making a little bit of an adjustment. I'm only going to be making very, very small incremental adjustments, because the idea with this off season as opposed to last off season is that I don't want to get as heavy. Like I said, I don't want to get up to 225 pounds because that was just not beneficial for me, and I'm going to have to end up losing all of that weight to step on stage, which is just going to be hell, to be honest with you. So the plan is this year, not eat as much food, but do less exercise as well, because last year during my off season, I was eating at the peak of my off season about 4,000 calories per day, which is quite a bit of food for me, but I was still doing 30 minutes of cardio 6 days per week. If this time I can eat less food and do less cardio, that's going to put me in a better position for starting my prep next year, because then I have somewhere to move up from. I can, incorporate cardio 5 days a week as opposed to already doing 6 days a week and increasing it from there. So the plan with calorie adjustments is going to be every 2 weeks, just adjusting calories up by 75 calories. That is barely anything at all. We are going to make small incremental adjustments like that. So in 2 weeks here, for example, calories will go to 2,575 calories per day on training days. Then after that, 2,650. Then after that, 2,725. So very, very small increments over the 2 week periods to make sure that my body weight is not getting out of control. Same thing, I will slowly and incrementally decrease cardio. So as you can see here, in 2 weeks, I will go ahead and remove another 5 minutes from my post-workout cardio. Then 2 workouts after that, I will remove 5 minutes from my morning cardio until I get to the point where I am going to be doing only 25 minutes of cardio 4 times per week, as well as around 8,000 to 9,000 steps per day. Like I said, this is just kind of a rough estimate about where things are going to be. Obviously, as I watch my body weight change over these next 5 months, I will go ahead and make the adjustments on an as needed basis. By the end of the off season, I might be eating more than I thought I would. I might be eating less than I thought I would, but at least we have a rough plan in place of how things are going to go over these next 5 months. As far as my training plan goes, I haven't made too many adjustments to my training plan. Throughout this last dieting phase, I did slowly pull volume down as we got leaner, as we got more fatigue buildup. I did go ahead and pull some sets. So exercises that I was maybe doing 3 sets on, I went ahead and dropped that down to 2 sets. So right now, starting into this off season, we are just at baseline volume. Pretty much every exercise is going to be 2 sets. A couple exercises like calves and whatnot might be 3 sets, but for the most part, most exercises are going to be 2 sets. And then over time, as my body weight continues to trend upwards, as calories continue to trend upwards, we will go ahead and increase that volume. More food, more volume generally equals more muscle, because we are doing more workload. So over time, I will add in another set here, add in another set there to slowly increase volume as this off season goes on. But for right now, the workouts are as follows. Day 1 for me is going to be quads and calves. This is going to consist of a seated hip adduction, which is going to be 2 sets, a seated leg extension, which is going to be 2 sets as well, a pendulum squat, which is going to be 2 sets, a pivot leg press, which is going to consist of 2 sets, and then finally a seated calf raise, which is going to consist of 3 sets. Day 2 is going to be my first push day. This is going to consist of a D handle pec deck. I really like this exercise. It's a fantastic exercise for just getting a lot of blood in the muscle. So that's going to consist of 2 sets, but those 2 sets are going to be a 9 out of 10. So basically what that means is we are not going to take those sets all the way to failure. We're going to stop about 1 rep shy of failure to save ourselves a little bit for the pressing movement. Second exercise is an incline dumbbell press. This is going to consist of 2 sets as well. Third exercise is a reverse band Smith shoulder press. Again, 2 sets on here. Fourth exercise is a flat machine press. This is going to be 2 sets as well. Fifth exercise is going to be a standing machine lateral raise. Again, 2 sets here. Sixth exercise is going to be a prime D handle press down, 2 sets here. Seventh exercise is going to be an overhead rope extension, and this is going to be 2 working sets as well. When I say 2 sets, this is just going to be the amount of working sets that we are going to do. This is not going to include any warm-ups or anything like that. I don't count those. I only count the sets that I take till failure. I don't include all of the warm-up sets that I might do leading into the exercise. Day 3 is going to be a back and hamstring. So first exercise is going to be a seated leg curl, 2 working sets there. Second exercise is going to be a barbell deadlift. This is just going to be 1 working set for now. I was doing 2 working sets in my last off season, brought that down to 1 working set throughout the diet. So then I will slowly bring that back up to 2 working sets very soon here. But for right now, we are just sticking with 1 working set until the body weight starts to creep back up. Third exercise is a lying leg curl, 2 working sets here. Fourth exercise is a single arm front pull down, 2 working sets here. Fifth exercise is going to be the prime extreme row using a neutral grip, again 2 working sets here. Sixth exercise is going to be a machine preacher curl dual arm, 2 sets here. And then seventh exercise is going to be a rope hammer curl, 2 working sets here as well. Moving into day 4, this is going to be our second push session throughout the week. First exercise is going to be a seated machine lateral raise, 2 working sets here. Second exercise is going to be a reverse band incline Smith press, 2 working sets here. Third exercise is going to be a machine shoulder press, 2 working sets here. Fourth exercise is going to be a D handle pec deck, 2 working sets here, but as opposed to our first push day, we will now be taking this D handle pec deck all the way to failure on both of those sets. Fifth exercise is going to be a dumbbell skull crusher, 2 working sets here. Sixth exercise is going to be a long rope extension, 2 working sets here as well. Finally, day 5 is going to be our full pull day. So first exercise is going to be a reverse pec deck, 2 working sets here. Second exercise is going to be a supported single arm pull down, 2 working sets here. Third exercise is going to be a supported wide grip cable row to hit a bit more of that upper back, 2 working sets here. Fourth exercise is going to be a single arm low cable row to hit a little bit of that lower lat, 2 working sets here. Fifth exercise is going to be a wide grip upper back pull down, 2 working sets again. Sixth exercise is going to be a bicep isolator machine, 2 working sets here. And then finally, a seventh exercise is going to be an incline dumbbell curl, where we will do 2 working sets there as well. So like I said, volume right now is just pretty much at baseline. Pretty much everything is just going to be 2 working sets. And then over time, I will sprinkle a little bit more volume in there. As well, a little bit of extra volume that I do throughout the week is on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I do abs in the morning here at home. I will do 4 working sets on each of those days, so that's an additional 12 sets of abs across the week right there. As well, on Thursdays and Saturdays, I will do 3 working sets of calves on each of those days. So there's 6 working sets of calves plus the 3 working sets of calves that we are doing on our quad and calf day on day 1. So there's 9 total working sets of calves across the week. But that is going to be the rough plan going into this 2023/2024 off season. I'm very, very excited to see how things go. But over these next couple of months, I am going to be doing more videos, taking you guys through these workouts that I just talked about, taking you guys through full days of eating to show you kind of what my food choices are looking like with those given calories and all of that good stuff. So do make sure that you guys are subscribed if you're not already to catch all of the content just like that. But if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure to drop a like on the video. I would greatly appreciate it. And other than that, I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.